I think Florida's in play nationally. And Nikki's doing a hell of a job as your state chairman. I think, whether the press thinks I'm good, bad, or indifferent, I think they acknowledge that there's less than truth comes out of the other guy's mouth. And, you wouldn't know it from what you're reading here, but, we're in pretty good shape in the polls.
President Biden campaigning in Tampa yesterday, claiming he has a shot to win Florida in the 2024 election and that he's in good shape in the polls. Biden also slamming Florida's law banning abortion after 6 weeks, trying to tie that to former President Trump. Joining me now is Florida Congressman Carlos Gimenez, a member of the Homeland Security, Armed Services, and Select Committee on China. Congressman, good to see you this morning. Thanks so much for being here. Your reaction to Joe Biden in Florida?
When you were playing that clip, I was just laughing. Look, the story of his uncle being eaten by cannibals, and now that Florida's in play, that's a whopper. And since I'm in Miami right now, which actually the whopper was created here in Miami, I can identify a whopper when I see one.
When you say what he's saying about Florida, in other words, you don't think it's true. He doesn't have a shot to win Florida.
No, absolutely not. Look, for the first time, a couple of years ago, Republican registration surpassed Democrats' registration here in my state of Florida for the first time in my lifetime, and I've been here for over 60 years. And that gap continues to grow. And the independents here also are swinging to the right. So, no, I don't believe that Florida is in fact in play. But if he wants to believe it, come on down and campaign all you want. In the end, we're going to hand you a big defeat.
Well, it's ironic to hear all of these mistruths from President Biden, from the story that you just relayed to plenty of others. And yet in that little clip there, he said that you can't believe anything that comes out of Donald Trump's mouth.
Well, see, the Democrats accuse the Republicans of doing exactly what they're doing. And so how many times have I told you, Maria, you never, ever listen to President Biden. You just watch what he does, because what he says he's doing is completely opposite of what he's actually doing. And so I never listen to this president. This president comes out, with lie after lie after lie after lie for all of his life. So, he continues to lie because he's been lying for all of his life. And so that's just in his DNA. Well,
one thing that he will be doing today, likely, is signing the Senate bill into law. The Senate passed the $95 billion foreign aid package, which you all passed in the House over the weekend. It provides money for Ukraine, Gaza, Israel, and Taiwan. The bill also includes legislation forcing TikTok's Chinese parent company ByteDance to sell the firm or face a ban in U.S. markets of TikTok. President Biden says he will sign the bill today. Congressman, your thoughts?
I think he should sign the bill. Look, I support aid to Israel, to Taiwan, and to Ukraine. I supported that part of the bill. I wasn't crazy about humanitarian aid to Gaza, although there are guardrails in the bill so it doesn't go to terrorist organizations. But, when you get down, when you have to work across the aisle because, the Republican Party can't get united, that's what happens. I was a strong supporter of military aid to Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. We have to confront the new axis of evil, which is China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran. And the United States has to be a reliable security partner. And the nations around the world have to know that the United States is a reliable security partner. Nobody's asking us to fight those wars. They're just asking us for the arms and the bullets to defend themselves.
So put the border aside for now?
The border, look, the border is Joe Biden's making. And then for people, and even people in Congress, to say that we can somehow solve the border crisis, the president can snap his fingers today and solve the border.
But he's not.
Nothing changed from. No, he's not. And even if we pass legislation, first of all, you got to pass legislation. And then he has the right to sign it or veto it. If he vetoes anything, nothing passes because you got to get a 2/3 majority to overrule his veto. That's not going to happen. And he doesn't want to control the border. And so if he doesn't want to control the border, we can pass all kinds of legislation. If the administrative branch decides they don't want to enforce that, then there's very little that we can do outside of impeaching the President of the United States, which that's not going to happen because the Senate is controlled by the Democrats.
Right.
So you have to be a realist, and you can't tell people and give people false expectations about a piece of legislation and what that's going to do. In the end, it's President Biden. In the end, the only way to solve, in my opinion,
Yeah.
the border is to elect Donald Trump as the next president of the United States. And you know what? In a couple of days, he'll bring the border under control.
What is going on in terms of the speaker? I remember you were nobody but Kevin for Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah.
You were upset that some of your colleagues overthrew Kevin McCarthy. Now you've got Mike Johnson in place as the speaker. He's still facing some resistance, but he's going to be meeting with Jewish students at Columbia University later today. The school says it's made progress negotiating with anti-Israel protesters who've been camped out there for days. Former President Trump is blaming all of this on President Biden. The anti-Israel protests breaking out on college campuses across the country. Watch this.
What's going on at the college level and the colleges, Columbia, NYU, and others, is a disgrace. And it's really on Biden. He has the wrong signal. He's got the wrong tone. He's got the wrong words. He doesn't know who he's backing. And it's a mess.
Congressman, what do you think?
He's absolutely right. Look, President Biden should come out and be, strong on Israel. We are on Israel's side. I've never wavered on it. I'm on Israel's side. I'm against what Hamas is doing, and Hamas needs to be destroyed. What's happening at the campus is very simple. Look, when I was mayor of Miami-Dade, and we had the BLM, issues down here in Miami, you never saw, buildings burning. Why? Because we will support your right to protest. But once you get out of that and you start, violating people's rights, well, we're not going to do that. And so they tried us for a couple of days, and then when we arrested folks and we imposed a curfew, it all stopped. What they need to do in these universities, those university presidents need to go out and say, if you're a student here and you're violating, the law, or you're violating our guidelines as to how a student should act, you're out of here. No, you're not going to be suspended. You are out of here.
Well,
oh, by the way, professors, the ones that are backing these, you're gone too. And you know what? If you do that, these things will stop right away. But these presidents are so weak that they won't do that. And so these students are now trampling on other students' rights because they can't even go to school.
Well,
that's just weakness. But that's the liberal side. That's the progressive side. And that's what happens to society when progressives are in charge.
Well, do you think there are other outside groups, leading this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because it doesn't look like it's all students. Who's funding it? And why is Mike Johnson taking this on?
Well, Mike Johnson, I guess he wants to see it for himself, and then let's see if there is any legislation that actually can come out of Congress on this. I'm not sure there is. And look, you don't need legislation to stop this. You need presidents of those universities to have some guts and tell their students, though, it should be the presidents and the faculty running the asylum, not the the inmates running the asylum.
Yeah, well,
and
the
so
tone
right
is set
now
from
in
the
those
top.
universities,
I mean, the tone is set from the
What's
top.
that?
You just had the tone is set from the top. You just had Chuck Schumer on the Senate floor saying that we need new elections, going against Benjamin Netanyahu in the biggest fight of his life. You had President Biden then following up saying that was a good speech. Attacking Benjamin Netanyahu now for weeks and making Israel the bad guy. So there's that as well. But we do want to know who's funding this and who is leading all of this, because that is really part of this story as well. It's not all students. Congressman, thank you. We're going to keep a spotlight on it. Yeah, go ahead. Final word,
one
sir.
more thing. Don't be surprised if you actually look really deep into who's funding it, that the CCP is involved, that the Communist Chinese Party is involved in trying to destabilize it.
That's right. I just said that. I agree with you, because they are trying to destabilize America on many fronts. So I would not be surprised as well. Is there a way to confirm that?
Yeah, I've been, I got some information that that somehow through another organization, the CCP actually funds that organization who is funding these, these people, the disturbances, et cetera, et cetera. And yes, without a doubt, there are outside agitators. We had that in Miami during the George Floyd riots that, around the world. We knew that they were here. They tried us for 2 days. We were tough with them, and they left to other cities, maybe Portland or Seattle, where they had a lot more luck.
Congressman, thank you very much. And, of course, I know you'll be studying this on the China Select Committee as well. Carlos Jimenez joining us. Thank you, sir.